This is Rick Hidalgo, and this is C2K News. Today is the 18th day of May, 2022. It's my son's birthday. Happy birthday, David. God bless you, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Guys, today we're going to change our format up just slightly. We are going to talk about videos that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you some videos, and then we're going to have a conversation about it. But we do have one article that we're going to show you, and it's from the Epoch Times. Yep, the Epoch Times is the only paper that I read. You can save big time by subscribing through the C2K report by literally using C2K as your code. Let me show you how. Are you tired of fake news and cancel culture? Me too. Stay informed and stay free by subscribing to the only paper that I read, the Epoch Times. Subscribe today and get the Epoch Times for just $1 the first month. Yes, that's right, just $1 the first month. And because you're a listener of the C2K report, you'll get a discounted monthly subscription of just $77. Not the $99 that everybody else has to pay, but the $77 that you as a C2K listener get to have. So simply use the promo code C2K to enjoy the lowest rate available. Go to C2KReport.com, click on the Epoch Times logo on our homepage, and it'll bring you here. Simply enter the promo code C2K to enjoy the lowest savings ever. Thank you, Epoch Times, for partnering with the C2K report. All right, guys, let's get right to the news. I was going to show you something from the Epoch Times, and guess what? Boom! Dow Jones plunges 1,100 points as retailers' profits crushed by rampant inflation. Don't you love these articles? These guys are good writers. They are, and I appreciate their perspective on things. But I do have to say this, right? The Dow Jones, the entire stock market, if anything is manipulated, and if anything is as fake as a 5-cent wooden nickel, okay? Big time manipulated, big time fake. This thing is controlled from the top. We know exactly that. I mean, we've been watching it for years and years and years. So the conversation we want to have here is a conversation of how invalid the Babylonian financial system really is. It's totally invalid. It literally seeks to keep us entrapped into buying the same old things. You know, invest in this, invest in that. Put your money here, put your money there. You know, that's what Babylon says. Babylon keeps coming to us and trying to tell us, you know, this is the next great stock. Oh, this is a bellwether stock over here. Get this one. It always, you know, it's always great. Oh, buy gold, buy silver, you know, and at the same time manipulating the gold and silver market with paper, gold and silver. So yeah, it's the tool of a puppet regime, this Babylonian system, and I don't trust the market. I've got a little bit in the market, not very much. You know, I'm kind of an oil guy when it comes to the markets, only because, I guess it's because traditionally in my family, we have oil men, okay? My mother's side, so I bought oil. I bought stocks in oil. Not very much. Less than a handful, so I'm not very invested in the markets. I don't want to be very invested in the markets. Where I choose to invest is in the ecclesia. I want to invest in the ecclesia, so I do have a savings program, and my savings program is ready to be invested into a ecclesia infrastructure. Okay, now that's where we're going. So, thought I'd just kind of throw that out there. All right, now we have a series of video clips that I want to show you. Let's start with this one. Let's talk about it.
We are, I have gone back into the Department of Justice to let them know, to put them on notice that I am going to sue these people. And I don't give a crap about the money as much as I do to let them know I'm not going to sit on my laurels and do woe is me and wring my hands. We are going to go after these people. And we actually filed very quietly an intention to sue to the Department of Justice, all of these people from Jim Comey up to President Obama.
So here's the thing, okay? I went to a conference very recently and I got to meet General Flynn. The guy's a fascinating character. I love General Flynn. I shook his hand, looked into his eyes, looked to see, to try to gauge or vet his intentions. Heard him talk, listened to him very closely. I could tell you this. He's a legit guy. He's totally legit. I do believe that he has good intentions. I do believe that he fights for America, but I don't think that he understands that this system is the Babylonian system. I think his investment in the fight is too great for him to begin to talk about it in the capacity that it needs to be talked about. And that's unfortunate because here we have a clip of him talking about how he's going to sue, and how the Justice Department is in his crosshairs, and all the way up to Obama. Now, it's great to hear somebody talking about the fact that they're going after, this Babylonian apparatus for what it is, but again, the full faith and credit that we have in this Babylonian system is really ridiculous. We pay so much attention as people who are Christians, as people who are in the kingdom of God, the ecclesia. We pay so much attention to Babylon that we don't take care of our own business. We don't create the capacities that we have the ability to create because we've focused ourselves so much on Babylon. It is time for us to take our focus off of Babylon and put it on the kingdom and actually facilitate our way to a place where we build ecclesia infrastructure. That means every area that you can imagine that's governed under the kingdom of God, which is every area, all the way from Candyman to bill collector, okay? All of them, every single capacity, we need to not take them back, but create them over here on the ecclesia side so that we have something that we can put our focus on. Their side has a focus. We're going to talk about it this Thursday on the C2K report with Rick and Randy, okay? We're going to talk about it this Thursday more specifically as to what I mean by that, but that is a fact, and we need to get over the fact that that Babylonian this Babylonian system fooled us into, or mesmerized us into, or hypnotized us into thinking somehow that system was a godly system. No, it's not. It's a false God system, and it is time for us to stop fighting for that system. Yeah, when people say democracy, when people say that they're defending democracy, they're defending something that I am not willing to defend. I'm not willing to defend a democracy. I will not defend a democracy. A democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. If you're willing to defend that, well, defend it all day long. But I'm going to be defending the one sheep that's got the AK, okay, or that's got the M16, or it's got the is able to defend himself. I'm going to be supporting that sheep, the sheep that's well armed. Okay, so it is what it is. Speaking of well armed, we have to arm ourselves in our health. And one of the things that we have to our advantage is we've got really smart people within the ecclesia that have put together great protocols in order to help us in our health. Zeb Zelenko has put together a great protocol. It's called Z-Stack. Here's more about it. We are living in times of Babylonian desperation, and no one knows what pestilence will be released next. But it's not a time to fear. God's healers are stepping up to the plate all over the earth. There is no better example than Dr. Zelenko's protocol. Dr. Zelenko's Z-Stack is proven to maintain your immune system and keep it resilient and resistant. Go to C2KReport.com and click the Z-Stack logo to join the thousands of people building a resilient and resistant immune system. Save 5% by entering coupon code C2K at checkout. Thank you, Dr. Zelenko, for partnering with C2K.
God is good. And all the time. Any freedom-loving Americans in the house here? Wow, 1 Corinthians 1:27 gives us all hope. God uses the foolish to confound the wise and the weak to confound the strong, right? That's his story. And he uses people like you and me to change history. I always like to say when we make his story our story, we can change history. But it's been a time to try our souls. I'm looking across the past couple years here, and I'm looking at some other champions out here that fought with us. And you remember when the schools shut down and they mashed up your kids? Deprived your kids of athletic opportunities, scholarships, of their education, of their prom, of life, masking them up for no scientific reason to do that. Remember your businesses, essential, non-essential? Not essential? Not in my Pennsylvania, what do you say? Absolutely not. It was a dark time in Levine, follow the science. Only a Democrat can get away with failed policies of sending the sick in their homes, killing thousands, and get away with it. And their darling, of course, would be promoted to Admiral, Woman of the Year. Anyway. But they like to call people who stand on the Constitution far right and extreme. I repudiate that. That is crap. That is absolutely not true. Actually, their party, which the media stands for and advocates for, they've gone extreme. They're the ones that sent the sick back in their homes, their policies, Democrat policies, and killed so many. That's extreme. That's extreme forcing your kids to mask up. That's extreme forcing healthcare workers to lose their job for not getting a jab.
So future Governor Doug Mastriano with a wonderful message, okay? Now, the C2K News is not a political juggernaut. We don't do political. We don't do left and right. We don't do that paradigm thing going on, okay, because it's really two wings of the same bird. We have the far right over here. And sure, that there might be some defending of ecclesia God dates. It's yes, there are some defending. You heard him quote some verses that were very significant. And I love guys like Doug Mastriano who try to bring some substance back to Babylon, because Babylon's a fiction. Fictions don't have substance. So when you bring substance into Babylon, it shatters the whole paradigm, and Babylon goes bye-bye. Babylon goes away. So it's great that they got guys like Doug Mastriano out there. I'm not going to push him as a right or a left or anything. I'm just going to say he's a good man. He's a good man that's pushing a lot of the right things. But here's my deal. Okay, time and time again, we've seen guys like Doug Mastriano get up and become governor, become senator, some kind of office within this Babylonian system. And what makes it the Babylonian system is that they get compromised. Okay, because Babylon's very good about compromising. It's very, very, very good about compromising people. What happens is those people get vetted. it goes up and up and up and up the chain. Guys like Doug Mastriano will get vetted. He will be visited. There will be people who will ask him questions. They will find out how it is. How did you win? You know what? Remember the story about Jesse Ventura when he became governor of Minnesota and they took him down to the basement and interrogated him? How did you win? How'd you do it? Okay. Those kind of things are vetting processes. And what's going to happen is he's going to be made an offer, just not any different than what Jesus was given when he was taken up to the mount and Satan was there, and he looked out to all the kingdoms of the world, and he said to Jesus, I will give you all these kingdoms. All you have to do is bow down to me, and you can have it all. They will be given the opportunity to take or to bite on the Babylonian nipple. They're going to be given that opportunity. Okay? And if they do, they become, one of two things. Career politicians who tickle the ears of people, okay, and get nothing done within Babylon to reform it, because really it's not possible to reform Babylon. Or they become a one-term guy, and they don't run again. Why? Because they realize that Babylon is not where they need to focus their attention. Really, there's only one place, and we just talked about it in the last news article, and that is the ecclesia. That's where we have to focus our attention. So I'm bringing you these clips to bring you more of a reason, to show you more reasons as to why it is we've got to focus on ecclesia infrastructure. We cannot get sucked into the fact that, oh, Doug Mastriano's going to save us. Oh, President Trump is going to save us. Oh, so-and-so is going to save us. Oh, look, General Flynn, he's suing this or he's suing that. He's suing using what? Lawyers? Attorneys? Attorned ones? In Babylon? Really? You think that Babylon's going to destroy itself? No. Babylon's not going to destroy itself. The attorneys of Babylon are the gods of Babylon. They're the ones who make the rules. They're the ones who actually keep the rules going. They decide what's going to be enforced and what's not going to be enforced. You can have a Congress that'll pass 1 million laws and they'll decide to enforce 10 of them. Okay? So there is a problem within Babylon. And there it is. There's the problem. So we've covered it. I now want to go to the next video. Check this out.
Do you believe in abortion after birth? Would you support that?
I believe in whatever the woman wants to choose to do, that's her choice.
At any point of the child's life?
At any point of the lady's life, that's her choice.
To kill another person's body?
It's going to always be her choice.
Even after the baby's born?
It's always her choice.
So if they're 2 years old?
It's always her choice.
I can kill my 2-year-old?
It's a woman's right to choose.
To kill their child at any point?
Woman's right to choose.
It's a woman's right to choose. To kill your baby at 4? It's a woman's right to choose. To kill your baby at 14? It's a woman's right to choose. To kill your baby at 83? It's a woman's right to choose. So, matriarchy much? How about, like, dictatory matriarchy? Hello? So, okay, guys, do we have to even talk about this one? This one obviously stinks to high heaven. Anybody who is going to take the question about the life of a baby, the life of a newborn, and even the life of a child, and say it's always the woman's right to choose. No. Do you know when it's the woman's right to choose? It's the woman's right to choose at the moment that they choose to procreate. But what in the case of incest or rape, Rick? Okay. Did they choose incest or rape? Well, if they didn't choose it, then it was somehow ordained in some way. It was ordained in some way. I'm not saying that God chose for that woman to be raped, but certainly God chose for whatever fruit from that rape to come and use it to his glory. I mean, that's what happens. That's what life is about. Life is about using us, using our agency to his glory. So, yeah, there is a narrative here that I don't think that woman literally meant, you can choose to kill your 5-year-old. Oh, yeah, you can choose to kill your 2-month-old. Oh, yeah, your teenager, sure. Yeah, why not? Oh, your son that's 30, 40, 50 years old. I don't think that she literally meant that. I think she was staying to a narrative. She felt like she was being trapped, about answering a question in a particular way. So, yeah. Anyway, Babylon this is the brainwashing that Babylon has done to us. And how did they do it? Well, they destroyed the family. They sent us to the reindoctrination camps that are called public schools. And even if they're not public schools, they're chartered schools or private schools, and they're still registered within Babylon, so they have to teach a certain way. They still take standardized tests, which lead them down a particular chosen path. All of that. What's the answer? You've heard me say it a million times. I'm going to say it again. The ecclesia needs an infrastructure. We need ecclesia education. What does that look like? We've got to figure that out and figure it out quickly and take it to that point over here on the ecclesia side. These arguments that these people make, it's all about them not being wrong. You understand what it is? You understand nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. The lady who's doing the interview is asking questions that are obvious. They're obvious questions, right? She's not going to just, admit that they were wrong, that she's wrong, because her questions were obviously leading her to a particular point of saying, yes, it's wrong for you to kill your kids. But the other lady also didn't want to be wrong, so guess what? She just stuck to the narrative. It's always a woman's right to choose. It's always a woman's right to choose. But see, we don't have rights to choose. We don't have rights to choose over other people's lives, over other people's property. We may share property with someone, and it's not our right to choose. We have to make that decision together. And if not together, then we have to go to the patriarch. We have to go to the higher level. What does the Bible say? So anyway, it's a debate that cannot be won because everyone wants to be right. With that said, if you want to be right and you want to be without pain, we have these wonderful pain patches by QE Strong. I would recommend them to you. Why? Because I use them and they are very effective. So check out this commercial. Are you in pain? I am. I cut meat for a living, and as a meat man, I have a really sore thumb on my cutting hand. I recently went to a conference where I was introduced to a pain patch that I fell in love with. QE Strong has a line of incredible products that relieve pain. The special patches emanate a frequency that is scientifically proven to bring fast pain relief. I know it works because I use it. To get some of these patches, go to www.c2kreport.com and click on the QE Strong box on the homepage. Click on the QE Strong box on our homepage. Then click the check availability button and order a few boxes of skin patches today. Order some for yourself and order some to give away to your neighbors. Thank you, QE Strong, for partnering with the C2K Report.
I understand. My parents died of COVID. And I think I gave it to them because I wasn't old enough to be vaccinated.
Propaganda much? Really? This is in a popular show that's televised on NBC that literally millions of people watch every week. And this kid, who obviously is a pretty good actor, has the eyes for it, definitely was showing extreme emotion, is all out of whack. He's psychologically beside himself because he believes that because he could not be vaccinated at a certain age, because that's the new push, right? They want to get it younger and younger. Because he couldn't be vaccinated at a certain age, he gave COVID, the unisolated COVID, the one that they've never actually isolated in a laboratory, the one that is so elusive that you can't isolate it. That one. That this kid fears that he gave it to his parents and his parents died. Propaganda much? And see, this is the kind of propaganda that because the ecclesia is in this spot where they're used to being dictated by Babylon all of these feel-good stories, this COVID thing has really gotten out of hand within the ecclesia, within the churches, within these buildings and these meeting places that are actually registered within Babylon. I mean, how does that work? How are you the bride of Christ and the bride of Babylon at the same time? I don't know. I don't think you can do that. Something about serving two masters. But I'm digressing. Let's go back to the actual point here, and that is that we have far too many times actually believed the propaganda coming out of Babylon. Babylon's very good at propaganda. Very, very good at propaganda. They will shove it in our faces and elicit an emotional response, and we will say, "Oh, that is true. These diseases, they are here because of sin. And now we've got to protect people. So wear a mask. Get your shot. All these kind of things. Okay? So they elicit lots of emotional responses, and we are where we are as the ecclesia. So again, what do we have to do? Rick, we have to build an ecclesia infrastructure to take us out of Babylon and to govern ourselves. Oh, okay, very good. You guys are getting the message. That's exactly what we have to do. So that was a short and sweet one, so I'm not going to go any further than that. I think you guys have got that one figured out. Here's the next one.
There's Tedros, the Director General of WHO, on the screen, and it says right there they're planning on strengthening WHO as the directing authority on global health. I want to read the line that you said is the most concerning line out of the many amendments the U.S. is proposing to have the nations vote on next week. Again, you said that was Article 12, Section 2, Line 6. It says here, if the Director General determines and the state party are in agreement regarding the determination
And stop right there, okay? It says, if the Director General determines and the nation agrees, okay?
State party, I guess,
The
means
nation, right. And so, and the state party agrees, okay? If you take out and the state party agrees, what you're left with is the Director General decides.
Is they've struck through the state party part,
Right.
leaving the Director General as the primary determiner.
But it's just absolutely insanity, in my opinion, to take the control from 194 nations and not give them to an independent body, right? But to give them to one person.
How many people, by a show of hands out there in YouTube land, actually believe that you know the answer, or you know what I'm about to say? Just about every one of you. You see, Babylon likes to consolidate power. That's what they do. They consolidate power. There is perhaps no better book in the world at explaining Babylon's consolidation of power than The Excellence of the Common Law by Brent Winters. Get this book. It's thick, and it's not an easy read. But this guy knows exactly what happens. Babylon is all about governing by civil law. Civil law is Babylonian law. That's what it is. And you see, when they consolidate the power in Babylon, they're able to manage masses of people by literally governing over a very small geographical population. Look at every state and the laws of those states. Laws meaning what the states consider law, what they've passed in the legislature in order to govern the state. You understand that that doesn't have anything to do with the people, but they're governing the state. They're governing the Babylonian subdivision of that state. So when they govern the state, many of the laws are based on the largest segment of the population in that state. So here in South Dakota, we could say that many of the laws that are passed for controlling the corporation or the Babylonian system subdivision called South Dakota of the United States Babylon, okay, the largest people group that's micromanaged, that makes everyone else get micromanaged, is the biggest city in South Dakota, and that's Sioux Falls. When they govern Sioux Falls, again, not the people of Sioux Falls, when they govern Sioux Falls, see, they're governing a fiction. They're governing Sioux Falls. And then the people of Sioux Falls say, oh, that applies to us because we're Sioux Fallians. But that's not how it works. They're governing Sioux Falls, not Sioux Fallians. You see? But the Sioux Fallians say, oh, it's law. I have to do it now. So they, by application, by agency, they become subject to the law because they then register in that area through the variety of types of registration, and suddenly they find themselves obligated to a particular form of law, which is foreign to them. That's how Babylon consolidates its power. So here's what's happening, right? The World Health Organization, the WHO, right? The World Health Organization, which is funny that its acronym is WHO, and the owl is symbolic of, well, anyway, I don't want to get into that kind of stuff, but the point is, the WHO is consolidating power because the WHO is affiliated with the UN, okay? The UN is consolidating power among the nations, bringing it into one big civil law form to manage these Babylonian nations. Nothing to do with you. Everything to do with Babylonian policy. So what do we have to do to get out of it? Can we stay in Babylon? No, because if you stay in Babylon, you're going to have to deal with these policies, even if they don't apply to you. Because Babylon is applying those policies at a level in which they have control. They have control through enforcement. They have control through judicial systems. They have control through banking. They have control through corporations. They have control through education. They have control through labor. They have control in every one of those areas, and we must remove ourselves from Babylon and go into the ecclesia and create an infrastructure that they cannot rule over. Understand? That is where we have to go. So, I can't get to the last things that I want today because we've gotten past our time limit. I promised you 30 minutes of news, 30 minutes only. So, I'm going to play this theatrical trailer as an outro. I want you to pay attention to it. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and please pass this on to your friends who need to hear the truth. Okay? Like-minded friends who need to hear the truth. Everything we do here at the C2K News, it's all about the blood.
Marking, 5, take 1.
This was the second time he exhibited that behavior, 11 months earlier.
Mark.
I've never been so hurt inside. And even as I'm speaking to you right now, it's starting to come back.
This is an autonomous zone.
23 out of 24 hours in a cell. No TV, no magazines, no books, no nothing.
So anytime a customer brings a counterfeit bill, and you see we have plenty of them, we tell them, hey, this is counterfeit. If the customer insists, then we call the police.
How did you feel watching the trial?
I thought it was a sham.
All right, so I just want to start it with just you stating your name for the record, as well as your professional background.
I have been a police officer in the state of Minnesota for almost 4 decades.
Forensic criminologist and certified medical investigator and police practices expert.
Yeah, some good moments here. It's like we lived together almost, I guess, it was about 4.5 years, almost 5 years.
So you guys, in many ways, were some of the people that were the closest to him. And I don't remember seeing your faces on the news or anybody talking to you, so I guess let's just start with that. You guys knew him best. So, who was George Floyd?
She's right. We haven't told our side of the story. Maybe it's time for us to tell our story, you know?